last night, again, if you guys were here with us, if you didn't check it out, we have the videos up. We had a pregame where we sit around and just kind of hung out and talked about our thoughts on She-Hulk so far, our expectations and wants for the episode that we ended up getting last night. And we answered, any comments and questions you guys had. And I think that if I remember right, when we went over into the room and asked what we all expected or wanted from this, we all had the same answer, didn't we, guys?
Daredevil.
Yeah.
We all had bit of Daredevil, yeah.
Yeah, right. We all wanted Daredevil. And what did we get? We got it. I mean, we got it in the best type of way, and it was awesome. Yeah. Like, coming from a guy who just last night, like I said, if you haven't checked out the video, go check it out. But I was saying just last night that I never was the biggest fan of this Daredevil series. I never was able to get into it. I tried 2-3 episodes, and it just never got rolling for me the way that a lot of other things do. And then as it got later on, like I said, there's just so much now that we're in the golden age of television that with all these options, I find it hard to go back and watch a series that's been canceled and that we never really will see. But of course, alas, here we are. We are seeing it again. Somewhere. And yeah, so, like I was telling you guys this morning, it was really, for me, what it did is it woke me up and was like, dude, I got to go check this series out. Like, I immediately need to go check this out. I mean, first of all, let's talk about Charlie Cox. Charlie Cox clearly is, born to play this role. He plays Matt Murdock, probably better than, he plays Daredevil. Because he just fits the character. And, like Trevor was saying last night, he's so smooth. Right. And he's so
subliminal.
Yeah, he's so crafty.
The beer.
Love it. Yeah, love it. Yeah. Oh, help me out, lady.
Yeah,
right. I don't know where his stuff is.
I'll say, I got to say, I don't think you, I'll bring this up more when I do mine, is like, I don't think we've gotten to see his full, you don't see him go full Daredevil in this one. Sure. Yeah.
For sure. But anyways, yeah. But when we do see him go full Daredevil, it was still great because we still got that Matt Murdock shining through. Because he wasn't kind of putting on that facade for Jen, because clearly, as we find out later in the episode, he kind of feels a little bit differently about Jen, right?
Right.
So he doesn't mind maybe letting her know who he is. So he's not really even being Daredevil, even when he is Daredevil, right?
Really have
so we never
choice.
get to see him really be Daredevil, right? And I understand that, but I love the decisions that we make. We talk about all the time. We know most of us in this room, and specifically me, am just not a big fan of the comic book relationships. There's a few that we love, Tony
Vision.
and Pepper.
Oh yeah,
Scarlet, Vision and Wanda. Spider-Man and
MJ
and
sure.
the new one.
And Mary Jane in original Spider-Man too. Gwen and Spider-Man, they're by far the best part of the movie.
But either way, and a lot of times what it feels like to me more is like what happened in Age of Ultron with Black Widow and Hulk. It feels like, whoa, this isn't natural. This doesn't feel right. Where Tony and Pepper felt so real, you know. And I think that's what this did. It just felt, it was almost like we were watching it happen, and then and they're so brilliant with their timing, and they really are just starting to really figure this out. And it's too bad because there's an episode left, but it was really good, man. I really enjoyed seeing Daredevil and her have their little fight, which I didn't expect. When I had seen the little leak of it, I thought, I didn't have no audio on it, so I thought for sure that he was going hard on her because it just seemed like it.
Right.
But,
just goofing around more than anything.
But yeah, he was just trying to, get her to calm down and prove a point. And yeah, but it was great. But, and it's so, I love how aware of itself the show is, like you were saying in the beginning, she's like, let's not forget, this is my show, and the reason is, like we were saying, is because he stole the show.
Right. I mean, he did.
And that's why, when I made the thumbnail this morning, before producer Shane came in and edited it, I had it as Daredevil Attorney at Law. because really it became his show last night, right?
Right.
And I love that. I really did. I enjoyed that so much, and I like the suit a lot too.
Yeah,
I
that
like
was
the
really cool.
display of the powers. I love like when she goes to hit him and he hits her with the Neo from the Matrix, just all the way to the ground. You know, I enjoyed it a lot, man. I love their chemistry.
Yeah.
And going back to what I was saying earlier, you know, their chemistry and not liking couples in comic book, but theirs was it's doing so good that at some point it's so self-aware that she turns to us and breaks the fourth wall and she's like, you guys are feeling this too, right? Right.
And it's so natural.
And it's so
Yeah.
true because we are. We're like, yeah, this I am feeling this.
I was like, before she was saying it, I was thinking it. I was like, oh, dude, like, this is something happening here?
Right.
Like,
And it just feels so organic.
Yeah,
And
it
it feels
does.
like it's
It
just
does.
kind of happening
A real
to
relationship.
to people that meet. And I love that. And I love how it ends. You know, I love how
the walk of shame.
I love how yeah, for sure. I love how
yeah.
Jen is a woman who takes what she wants. And you know, and she gets to the point, you know, even you know, there's that last scene, you know, what time or what day are you leaving? I'm leaving tomorrow. But next time I come back, maybe we can, or we
could just
could
skip all that.
Right, right, and this is what I mean. You know, like you know, she's I think it adds more to the character of She-Hulk
Sure, yeah,
itself
right.
because again, this is a lady who takes what she wants, and
Right.
that's important. I think in a superhero kind of person too, especially a Hulk. But yeah, it was really cool to see Daredevil. Outside of Daredevil being in there, and man, seeing her in that last scene Hulk out was really cool for me. And like I was explaining to you guys immediately when it happened, the first thing I said out loud in the studio was, as we were watching it, was, now you get to see what it's like to really be a Hulk.
yeah, it was a
Now
payoff
you get to
earlier.
see because what had happened in that scene, if you guys weren't able to see it, spoilers by the way, you don't want to hear this, mute, but what happens is she loses it and she hulks out, and when she is in this Hulk rage, she kind of is, you know, loses her sense of Jen.
Grounding,
And
yeah.
yes, and so because of it, she kind of
Her sense of
becomes more
zen.
Hulk than she is Jen, which we haven't seen at all in the series. She's really been in control the whole time until
Right.
this moment. And then she starts to come out of it, and when she does, she's looking up and around, and you can see all these people running from her, screaming, terrified for their lives, because there's a Hulk in front of them smashing things.
Right.
And like I said, and that's when I said, you know, now you get to see what it's really like to be a Hulk. Because if you guys remember, there's that scene, there's multiple, but just what came to my mind immediately was the scene in Age of Ultron where, you know, Hulk had went on that rampage, you know,
And
to
he
no
gets
fault
right,
of
yeah.
his own, of course, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, he did it, and people didn't know how to see it because again, they've only ever seen him in this one way. He's this big green monster, and yeah, you get the point where Wanda's, you know, curse is kind of wearing off of him, and he's looking around and he's seeing all these people run for their lives from him and fear of him and terrified of him, and he's so confused because, you know, sometimes when he's around, there's these group of dudes that are like, "Hey, dude, you're one of us, and we're Earth's mightiest heroes," and
Right.
and he's like, "Wait, shouldn't these people love me and
Like
be
patting
running
on the
toward?"
back?
So he's a little confused, but he's also not the most, you know, intelligent thing. That's
Babies.
right. So yeah, so we got a scene that was very similar to that scene from Age of Ultron, where she starts to look up and realize that, you know, what she's done and how it's affecting, you know, making her image look, and not to mention that the people who designed this plan, you know, kind of wanted this to happen.
That's
Clearly.
exactly what they
So
wanted, yeah.
they were trying to prove the point that, you know, at the end of the day, she's not who you think she is because she's a Hulk. And the Hulk that most people know is uncontrollable. Where Jen Walters' Hulk, for the most part, from what we've known until this instant, has been totally under control and grounded as a unified character, what we would now call Professor Hulk, you know,
Smart Hulk.
right, or Smart Hulk or whatever.
Right.
And so, yeah, so I was really glad to see that. It happened right at the end. There was also that fourth wall break towards the end where where she's like, wait, isn't the episode supposed to be over? Why is this still going on? Oh
Seems
man,
like
when
such
that
a
happened,
solid-
when that happened, I kid you not, guys, I got my heart kind of sunk to my stomach. I got chills a little bit, and I felt that WandaVision feel of like, oh no, what's going on here? Something's not right. Something's off, and even she knows it because again, like we talked about afterwards, for a character that can break the fourth wall, like Deadpool, for example, if something was happening, then Deadpool would know what was happening.
Right.
Even if it was in our world.
Right.
Right, because he could break the wall and look right through any time. And she could do that too. So if she wasn't able to see what was going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Something
going
powerful
on.
is behind it.
Right.
Which makes me think
Which
the
it
leader.
could relate into, Doctor Strange's spell in Spider-Man No Way Home. It could relate to Loki and Kang or the I'm sorry, is it the
He
ancient
Who Remains.
He Who Remains being killed. It could be related to so many of those things. I mean, we just have no idea. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna move over to you, Lucas. You obviously watched it here with us in the studio. I know you were super stoked to see Daredevil. We got Daredevil. I mean, what did you think overall of the episode? And obviously, what was your favorite part? And what did you think about Daredevil coming in?
I feel like I'm going to hit a lot of the same notes as you, coming from a similar place. But I think what stood out immediately for me, for sure, was definitely the chemistry between Jen and Matt, even just as lawyers. Like, even when they're arguing on opposite sides of it, you know what I mean? The banter between them. Like, she's almost like arguing with him. They are. And then but at the same time, she's like, wow, this dude's kicking my ass.
Right.
It's kind of hot.
Right.
I didn't want to support this guy anyway. You know what I mean? And yeah, so that was great.
It's the game recognizes game.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
I think another thing I bring back up, because I also haven't seen. Now I want to watch the Daredevil series all the way through, but honestly for the same reason, because like I didn't notice how sly he was. Like the Kane thing when he first comes in, one thing.
Right.
But to me,
he
it was
comes
the beer
through with
one.
this walking stick in the courtroom. It's like, sorry, I'm late, Your Honor. I had trouble finding
parking.
That's our boy Matt.
I mean, that's hilarious because as we know Daredevil, we know that basically he can see better than everyone.
Right.
So he can see everything. So it's hilarious. It was hilarious.
That's a great mechanic.
So that one was good, but honestly, the one that caught me more, like I almost wanted you to rewind it so I could see what he did, was the beer thing, where he was just like, where's it? Oh, there it is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And he's just playing it the whole time.
Yeah, he is, and especially for her. Well, because like I was thinking about it, he's sitting across the bar from her. He buys her an Appletini because She-Hulk.
Right.
But how does he know it's her?
Right. He's
When he asked the bartender,
he's also
"Hey, is this
staring at
She-Hulk over
her
there?"
from across the bar, smiling
Just like
at her.
this, yeah. So then when she was like, when she like ripped his mask off, do you fake being blind? Because that's really messed
Oh
up.
my
Dude,
God.
that was
So
so
funny.
Oh my God! Right.
He's like, no, I have echolocation.
It's so funny. It's so funny because it's such a real, like something that you as a grounded, real human being would want to ask someone like that. Like, wait a second, dude, have you been playing like you're blind? Because if so, that's really messed up.
Right.
Like abnormally messed up.
Right.
For sure.
Nah, I'm actually
That's a boy
blind.
Maddie, boy.
Yeah, I love that stuff too.
But he's really good. Yeah, and I mean, he really stands out in it. But so does she. I mean, like she's
great.
she is great. Yeah. I mean, I've been really enjoying her throughout the whole thing for sure. I give more credence to your theory about maybe it being the leader the more I think about it, because it's intelligentsia or whatever is the name of it. It's brain,
right?
Whatever. Maybe I was just sleepy, but I mean, it really feels like there's something bigger behind it. It's not just going to be a bunch of like Riddler incels. I don't think, you know what I mean? I think there's somebody bigger behind
Joker
it.
gang.
Yeah, right.
The Foot Clan.
The Tracksuit Mafia.
It's the
Oh, the
Foot
Foot
Clan,
Clan,
right?
from Shredder, yeah.
It's the crossover we've all been waiting for.
For sure,
Right.
the TMNT, yeah.
Right. Michael Bay sitting somewhere so happy. He's like, finally.
I've been waiting for it. Yeah.
Finally. Well, Trevor, you know, when we were talking about She-Hulk last night, or Daredevil last night as we were preparing to watch She-Hulk, you know, you had just recently went back through to finish Daredevil all the way through. And you know, you were saying that maybe it's your favorite series of all time.
It's one of them.
You had said it's
Definitely
even better than Game of Thrones, potentially, to you. So that being said, you know, we had a little bit of discussion this morning about your thoughts and feelings about the Daredevil character. And again, I know you have a lot of attachment to it, but what do you think, you know, of what we got? Are you happy with what we got as Daredevil in this episode?
That was a nice boost of confidence in the whole thing for me, to be honest, because it wasn't exactly that character, but that person, depending upon who he's around a little bit, does shift a little bit. And being on Jen's kind of lighter energy vibe, like that's that character around someone who's a little bit more positive, a little bit more fun, you know. And I loved their chemistry, and I think they did. I think they kind of, for the most part, they did respect the character that I knew and loved. You guys were talking about that smooth shit that he do, where he's doing like the cane. He does that all, like that's Matt. Like he just does that shit all the time. Like in the first like couple episodes, when he first meets Karen and he saves her, and she's like, "Oh, you're blind, right?" And she's standing right there. She's all wet, and he's like, "Yeah." And then she like just takes off her shirt like in front
I've
of him.
seen that. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And you know Matt. He's just like, and that's just, it's how we do. And I love the characterization they brought to it. And I thought, like you were saying as well, like that chemistry was so natural. Like it did not. There's a lot of times you put the two people in a room like, oh, they're trying to get them to ultimately, you know, to bang, but. This, like, it didn't feel, like, necessary at all. It just happened, and it was so nice. It was so, like, I was like, oh, man, finally Jen and my boy Maddie find someone who can get it. They understand the struggle and annoyance, and they're both lawyers. It was great. And
Yeah, what a team.
Yeah, right. And I loved, honestly, another big thing I really loved about that episode is that, it's like you said, the hulking out thing is they set that up early on, is that she got kind of arrogant about it, and understandably so. I mean, women really do have to deal with like kind of rage in a whole different way that, I mean, dudes feel a lot of rage, but it's like it doesn't have to be so much suppressed in order to like survive almost.
Well, we can also unleash rage and it not be kind of viewed the same way, right? Like if I lost my shit, you know, and started throwing stuff around this house, you guys would be like, you know, there's a man doing sometimes what a man does.
Man doing stuff in
but if
man's
you guys see
house,
my
man.
wife doing that, you guys be like, oh no, Key needs to get out of there.
Right, like she's gonna kill him. So Eileen Wernos on him.
Okay.
And I mean that's kind of the thing, is that they really and they don't, and the other thing is like, unfortunately, they
just
can be
so
stopped.
we're clear, it should not be that way.
No, right.
It should
No,
not.
right.
Is
Well,
because
right, that's the
they
comment
tend to be
on it,
like
right.
physically like less strong, so they can't like fight. Like even if they would like to express their rage, if they do, the dude might just like, you know, who knows? Dudes are fucking dudes. And so what I love is that because of that, she just has a natural like that beast, and we all have a kind of like a Hulk. Some
Let's
sort
just
of
Hulk
explosive
smash our
thing.
way in.
Let's do it.
Right? Like
Right,
she
yeah,
says
right.
that, right, exactly.
Right.
He's like, okay, I'm going to go down there. I'm going to disable.
Take 'em all
She's
out.
like, how about we just
It'll
Hulk
take
smash
30
our way in?
That's a great moment too.
And then she does. She jumps down through. She's like, She-Hulk smash.
And then he's like, dude, just caused like millions of property damage, bro. Like, come on. But I love that because, but as a result, it gave her like, it made her too confident. It's like, she's like, oh, well then I'm never going to lose my temper like that. I'm never going to do what Bruce did, because Bruce just doesn't, Bruce is a dude, he doesn't have control of his emotions. They just go. You know, he doesn't have control of that anger. He doesn't, you know, need to. He never learned how to. But this moment, and everyone gets this way. She got so upset that she just kind of greened out. You know, she just, you know, just lost it, but because she's
what
so
we would
big,
call seeing red.
yes,
Right.
yes,
Seeing
she saw
green.
green.
Right.
And so I mean, for most of us, it's not a comfortable situation when we do that. We have to apologize and stuff. But for someone, the more power you have as something like that, the more terrifying it is to see that happen, because you're like, damn, like what if I was the one that actually made that bad? I'd be the thing being smashed. So it was a really good moment, and it actually really brought a nice, satisfying story conclusion to some stuff she was talking about in like episode 1 with Hulk. And I thought that was really, really good storytelling. And
So safe to say, Trevor, though, overall, you were pretty satisfied with the version of Daredevil we got?
I'm still a little nervous, because again,
For the series itself, right?
Because now I'm a lot less nervous because they've handed me 2 things. They've handed me this amazing Daredevil, which I loved and thought was perfect for the show, and they've handed me Kingpin, which I hated. Like I actually hated what they did with Kingpin. And before that, I was all gung-ho about them just bringing back Daredevil. Until I saw that, I was like, if they're going to do that with Kingpin, or if they're going to do that with any of those characters, just leave it dead. I don't want it.
Yeah, but if your theory's right, in which, man, I'm saying it totally could be what it looks like. If your theory's right, it looks like we may be leading to getting the Kingpin you want to, right?
Right, and I hope that's what they do.
Right.
And if that's what it is, honestly, if we get back and that Kingpin comes in and he has that kind of levity and that heaviness that D'Onofrio had in the other one, then all of my worries are dispelled. Give it to me tomorrow. I'll watch it. With that, and I'm gonna watch it anyway. But I'll watch it knowing it's gonna be dope. Yeah. But I'm just I'm understandably nervous for one of my favorite shows. So
yeah,
but it's cool now.
Yeah, it makes total sense because, like I said, you're super passionate about it. You like the show a lot. So, but yeah, for me, again, guys, like, man, it made me want to go back and watch Daredevil. It made me feel like, how did I miss out on this? It made me feel like, as we talk about all the time, there's those meant to be castings. And he felt so right as Charlie Cox and as Daredevil. Charlie Cox felt so right as Daredevil. And yeah, I thought it was awesome. Like I said, the little fight scene was really cool. Her whipping a car at him. The little comedy in it that it hasn't been hit perfect for me. Like there's the scene where Daredevil's like, just follow my lead, and he jumps over the building, and she looks over to us and breaks the fourth wall. She's like, okay, now that was pretty cool. Right. right. Yeah, for sure. Right. It. Yeah. And it's funny because, as you mentioned, Lucas, in the beginning, we get that back and forth banter between them with in the courtroom, where you also have this like underlying respect and like sexiness between them,
right?
And then you get it again,
for sure.
Right. In this as they're showing each other their powers, kind of, and what they're capable.
Yeah, they're just balanced.
Yeah,
really
they're seeing. Yeah, for sure. I did love too that we finally got a thunderclap in the MCU actually used against somebody. Obviously, it wasn't like that hard because it could have potentially just blew him into pieces. I don't know, but it definitely did. If you notice, like when he fell down and like he was trying to get up, he couldn't like get his balance, and he was like covering his ears and kind of screaming a little bit.
Well, even when she ripped the mask off,
right?
And
so she had
said
clearly,
something blind.
She had clearly hit him.
It's like,
so
no,
hard.
I can just hear really well, or could.
Right. Right.
That was great.
Right. Could. Right. She had clearly hit him so hard with a thunderclap that it had disabled his powers in a way. Right, exactly. And I mean, even that was kind of awesome, I feel like too often when we get these heroes versus heroes thing, we get too much of the same thing, so like we ended up with turning Ryan Reynolds Deadpool in that Wolverine movie into Wolverine. He's got the claws now, and basically Wolverine's fighting Wolverine because Deadpool has healing ability. Wolverine, it's just silly. But in this case, we get to see like counter opposite powers and how they would work against each other. Right, I mean, it's so true that like at some point he kind of just starts running from her, and you could probably do that. You could probably get away from a Hulk. We talk about all the time. If Strange were ever to fight him, Strange would just be like,
look at Wong fighting Abomination.
Right.
Man.
Yeah. Right.
No, honestly, I think that's the TV series that I would like, just like a Royal Rumble. You know what I mean?
I
Just,
said that.
yeah,
I said that.
you have
Give
talked
us
about it,
every 2 weeks. Give us a fight card. Give us 5 fights. You know, a main
Wongers
event.
versus-
right. Let's
really
see it.
low-level
Let's
characters
see it.
in there.
Anybody,
but on the
dude,
main events, you
anybody.
can have big ones. You know,
Right.
Hyperion versus Thanos.
Right, or whatever, you know.
Galactus
It
versus, like,
would
the-
be pretty
the
cool
giant,
to see,
whatever.
and it would give us a better gauge of, you know, how all this
Power
really
levels,
adds up,
yeah.
you know.
Right.
Because as we go on further and further, it just becomes like, well, she's the most power, or he's the, you know, for a long
Convoluted a
time,
little
again,
bit, yeah.
you know, Hulk was that nuclear option, you know, he really was the end all be all, but you know, now you got Captain Marvel, you got, you know, you got so much, and you're gonna have the Fantastic Four coming in, Wolverine, and now Deadpool, you know.
Right, you got some people that can actually stand.
So yeah, but yeah, I like I said, I had a lot of fun with this episode. It was also overwhelmingly my favorite episode.
Yeah, for sure.
And again,
I loved
that's
the last
that's
episode.
coming from the last 2 kind of leading up to this. Like, I feel like we've started a little build on starting 2 episodes ago, so it's just gotten better and better. Now, granted, there was a couple episodes in between there through 1 through 5 that it just kind of didn't work for me as well as I wanted it to. Every episode I enjoyed moments, but there was definitely moments in a lot of other episodes that I did not enjoy, where this I felt was just great from beginning to end, you know. And I was really happy with what we got with Daredevil, and it's definitely got me excited to see the Daredevil series coming out from Marvel next year too, for sure. So what about you guys? Did you guys have a chance to check out the new She-Hulk episode? Were you excited to see Daredevil in it? Are you excited to see the new Daredevil series? Real quick, I guess before we move on, any predictions for the last episode of She-Hulk next week, Lucas?
I think we'll get Daredevil back.
Really?
I think Daredevil's going to be a pretty integral part of it.
Wow.
I mean, I feel like you're not going to introduce a relationship like that.
You
And
say
then
he's
one
going
off
home
it.
though, right?
Yeah, he can go home after the big fight.
Yeah,
You
true.
know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
got stuff to take care of now.
True.
You know, you got a girl he's interested in, if you will. So I think for sure Daredevil will be part of the last big battle or whatever, if you will. I think really all that's left, honestly, story wise, is like Intelligentsia and all that. I think that maybe that Todd dude might come around and he's got some more the just annoying one. Right. Yeah. Or Leapfrog might come back, play a part of it. I would like to see, though, I will say
Ribbon, rip it.
Rip it.
Baby.
I will say I would like to see what I would like to see, and it has nothing to do with story, is her brother and Pug in the same scene together. You know what I'm talking about? Her brother is just like the real Ethan, you know?
Yeah.
He's and then you get Pug too. Like those two together, I feel like their chemistry, it's just it's missing out. You know what I mean? And like I don't know. I think a lot of the moments that I've really appreciated, especially from episodes 1 through 5, I mean, whatever that one was that Pug was doing during the like Wongers episode or whatever, you know what I mean? When Pug had his own case, dude, let me get some more of that. Or even
that was awesome.
even what's her boss's name? The chick, which by the way, I loved her line in what does it feel like to be like a female attorney?
Right, yeah.
And he's like, I'm just sick and tired of being asked what it's like to be a female attorney. So, and you know, and I don't know if you caught it too. Like right before Jen does Hulk out and smashes it, she looks at her and she goes, "Jen, don't."
Yeah, for sure.
Because she knows what it's like to have that. She doesn't have Hulk powers.
Sure,
but her
but
boss,
she knows
yeah,
what it's
she
like
knows
because you
to
know
be
how
a female
you know why she knows, because she was sitting there, as every other woman that was there probably was sitting there assuming that she just won Attorney of the Year.
Right.
But it turns out you and 30 other women, lady. You and 30 other women win Attorney of the Year.
And then your
You
nudes
think
are
they
slipped
would ever do that
online,
for
man.
men? You think men would accept such a situation? No,
I wouldn't.
We as men, we would rather pick one than to say
We'd
there's
all
30 of us equal.
We'd all get up
Yeah,
there
we
and be
don't
like,
want-
all right,
like,
okay, but
so
which of us
nobody
30
won?
was
Right,
it? Key
exactly.
was you know?
The 30 of us would get up there and we start sizing each other up.
And then a huge riot would break out.
No.
Be like-
Sometimes men can solve things diplomatically. I'm telling you, I think in that situation, either it's an all-out brawl, or we're all gonna look at each other, and the biggest is gonna walk out of it. You know, what I mean? We don't even need the brawl. You know, we're just, but that's that. I mean, that's what's so frustrating about that situation for them, right? Is that they can't do that because otherwise, they're being psycho women
Right,
or whatever.
right.
You know.
Yep. I agree 100%. What about you, Trevor? What do you think? Next episode of She-Hulk. What do you expect? Do you think Daredevil's going to be in it?
I think if my theory is right and Kingpin is the final thing, then I would say he'd have to be. Like, I don't know how he is. I don't know in what capacity. If I'm wrong, probably not. Because, I mean, they've left it to where they're theoretic. This is not a miniseries or whatever. They're going to have, like a whole show after this, right? Like, probably more seasons.
Yeah. She-Hulk?
Yeah, of She-Hulk.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see, but
yeah, we'll see.
Better chance, I'd say, than
There's
Moon
been
Knight.
nothing said yet, though.
Right.
Okay. Well, I mean, I would imagine in some way she'll back up maybe in his show or something, or
Yeah, I
maybe
could see her
show up in
being like an
second
Avenger
season.
or something like that at some point.
Right,
She
exactly.
was in the comics.
So I mean,
West Coast Avenger, maybe.
they'll definitely find their way around to each other again, but I don't know if it'll be in this one because
Yeah, I
they
don't
did
think-
leave it till. I think every time they really make a deal, it's like I gotta go. They have a tendency, especially if it's in the last 2 episodes, like they're not. That means they're out.
Right.
So, but I also wouldn't be 100% surprised if he wasn't
Yeah,
there.
for sure.
Especially if it is like Hulk King, like it is Kingpin,
Right.
So, we'll see.
Yeah, for
see.
sure. But you
But-
excited about
yeah.
the finale? I mean, what are your theories for our villain? You still on the Kingpin kick?
I think so, but the leader's starting to sound more and more like there's definitely a possibility there too. The more you guys talk about it, and I'd be kind of happy with either one. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Like I think if you would have asked me about 4 weeks ago if I was really excited for it, I would have maybe had a different answer. I wouldn't have been not excited, but I would have been like, oh yeah, we're gonna watch it. But now I'm like pretty stoked. Like starting with about 3 episodes ago, it started to kick into a different gear, and this last one it landed on all cylinders. So I can't wait to see how they close it. I hope they have some callbacks too. I really do hope they have Madison come back. I
would like to see Madison again.
Going forward, I would really, I would like them to have some more episodes per season if they're gonna have short episodes, and I would like some episodes that are more like story, go out and do stuff. But I'd like to see several just procedural ones where they're just in the courtroom and they're just talking about the legal ramifications of superheroes. I would really like to see that. But
Well,
so
I think
far, I'm
that's
excited.
been one of my favorite things so far about the show is whether they're doing it in the context of a courtroom or whatever. They've answered a lot of questions about the current climate, if you will, of the MCU. I mean,
Especially
even
on a street level.
right. Well, even last night, he said the Sokovia Accords have been repealed.
Yep, for sure.
Did we know that?
We did not know that until
Right.
now. I mean, and I remember them at the beginning of She-Hulk, the writers or directors, somebody said that they were going to answer things like that. Specifically, they mentioned the Sokovia Accords, but, a lot of other things like what's going on with Wongers. It's opened some new questions, obviously, but what does yak milk and vodka taste like?
I
But,
kinda wanna get in there and try.
But no, jokes aside, whose wedding were they at? You know what I mean? Things like that.
Have you ever had a Long Island iced tea?
Maybe. What about a tequila sunrise? I don't think so. I once had yak milk and vodka. Never again.
Never again. Oh my
Do you still
God.
have
Do you have
some?
any left? Right? Yeah. Oh yeah. But anyways, guys, again, yeah, we're looking forward, especially now after this last episode. You know, there's only one episode left. You know, I will mention one more thing too that bothered me about it. Again, I hate to be the guy complaining about this constantly, but you led me here, Disney and Marvel. Where's my post-credit scene, man?
Yeah,
Where
for sure.
is it? There's one episode left. You could have gave me one of them sitting up on that street sign together, eating McDonald's nuggets together.
Literally
That's it.
anything.
It could have
was
literally
my
just
big-
been that, and you just pan out, and I'd have been like, oh, cute.
It could even just be Jen. You don't even have to do the CGI necessarily.
Right.
I don't care.
I agree, and it perturbs me, again, that you give us them, you know,
For
in
half
the
of
very
the season.
beginning.
Yeah.
Give us it
For
all
5
or none.
episodes, and then you take them away. I was really expecting, for some reason, you know, which I shouldn't, but we all do as film fans, right? And I'm not above it. I was really expecting a post-credit scene finally I on this one. You know, with one episode left, you know, you had Daredevil. There was a kind of a tease at the end, and I thought, okay, for sure, we'll get a tease and now who the main villain is going into next week. You know, kind of like we got in episode 8 of WandaVision, where
With
we
Agatha.
got the White Vision tease at the very end post-credit scene. Right. So we kind of at least knew going into the next episode who, you know, who we were what we were up against. Where I mean, you know, again, I hate to complain about it because it doesn't make or break or make this a bad show in any way, but it just perturbs me. It just bothers me, again, that you gave it to me and now it's gone. And then, you know, will we get one coming up? I mean, even the funny stuff, like one post-credit scene we had was just her dancing with Megan Thee Stallion, you know? It could just be silly stuff for all we care. This is a comedy, man. But anyway, I digress.
Don't
You
think
know,
too hard about
it's a
Just
small
do it,
complaint that I have about it. And I'm assuming we get a post-credit scene, you know, on the last
You'd hope.
episode, right? So, yeah. So, guys, what do you think? Again, did you have time to check out the new episode of She-Hulk? I mean, what did you guys think about Daredevil? Did they serve the character well? I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that enjoyed that Netflix series, you know, like Trevor, you know, that, you know, it was it's what made all the other Netflix Marvel stuff possible. And it's, you know, was their like premiere content of all of those things. So I know there's a lot of fans out there. So yeah, what'd you guys think? Were you guys happy to have Charlie Cox back too as Daredevil? Put your guys' comments down in the comment section below.